guy's going to be some senator one day.
So in case you did not see it, the Biden administration has been going after Texas. They've been trying to get Texas to remove the razor wire that has been placed at the southern border. They've been telling them that you're out of your league, you're out of your role here. This is our job. This is not your jurisdiction. And Texas has not listened to them. Earlier this week, the Supreme Court handed down an injunction, a temporary injunction, commanding Texas to relinquish control of the razor wire, to relinquish control of Shelby Park, and to let the federal government do its job. The problem is that the federal government has not been doing its job. Biden has been abdicating his duty. The president is not doing what he's supposed to be doing, which is enforcing the law. So Texas, under the leadership of Governor Greg Abbott, said, screw you. We're going to do what we need to do to protect our people and to protect our sovereignty. Biden administration originally gave them 24 hours to relinquish control. Greg Abbott stood firm and said no. And after a short standoff, the Biden administration earlier today announced that they would be taking no action against Texas. Conservatives actually won for once. Something that has not happened in a very long time, something that none of us are used to, a conservative victory. The last conservative victory we really had was the Dobbs decision. And of course, that decision, it led to some trigger laws, it led to some legislation being put in place, but we haven't really seen a huge victory coming off of that momentum. Now, we have not only Greg Abbott, not only Texas, but Texas and 25 other states saying the Biden administration has not done their job. The president has abdicated his post. He is not doing what he needs to be doing. We're going to take matters into our own hands, and we're going to support our brothers at the southern border who are doing so. Some states like Florida have even sent National Guardsmen. There are 25 states who have said the Biden administration is not doing the right thing. We're going to step in. We're going to support our brothers, and we're going to do what's right. Greg Abbott is in the right here. President Biden is in the wrong. The Supreme Court made a wrong decision. And not only do you have 25 states, as seen here, but you also have over 100 representatives in the U.S. House of Representatives who have said what they're doing at the southern border is the right thing. Texas is doing the right thing. We need to let Texas do what Texas needs to do. Now, where is all of this headed? Some people believe that we are heading toward a civil war. I do not believe that. I don't think that that's likely. I think that a civil war is going to take a lot more than just what's going on right now to kind of push us over the edge, though this could be something that could potentially be a lead up to one of these things that could push us over the edge. Earlier in the week, I wasn't so sure, but when the Biden administration announced today that they're going to be doing nothing, it gave me some comfort in that fact. Some have been talking about the possibility of national divorce. Now, I don't like that idea. It's something that I could foresee potentially happening, but I don't like that idea. I think the United States is a country worth fighting for. I think that we are one of the greatest countries in the world. We are the greatest country in the world. We've historically been one of the greatest countries in the world. And this is a land that we're going through some rough times right now, but this is still a land that, in my opinion, is worth fighting for. Some people have given up hope. Some people have said it's inevitable, and maybe it is. All empires have to die at some point, but we don't have to allow that to be today. We can use the momentum of this victory at the southern border and carry it forward in order to save our country. Now, as many of you seen earlier this year, I endorsed Donald Trump for president. I have a lot of disagreements with Donald Trump on certain things. I don't like what he said about his wish-washy answer on whether or not a man could become a woman. I don't like how moderate he is on the issue of abortion. There are a few things that I disagree with him on. But the reality is, at this point, Donald Trump is our only chance to beat Joe Biden in November. Nikki Haley's not going to do it. Ron DeSantis is not going to do it. Vivek Ramaswamy's not going to do it. It has to be Donald Trump. Trump ran hard on immigration in 2016. It was his top issue. It was an issue that not many people had spoken about beforehand in the way that he had. Before 2016, you had talks of amnesty. You had talks of common sense immigration reform. You had talks of policies and ideas that were just going to screw America over more than it already had been. But then Trump came along. Donald Trump brought forward the idea of mass deportations, of building the wall, and of having a strict immigration policy that is going to help in America, not hurt it. Trump is not running on immigration right now. He should be. He should be running hard on this issue. This issue is starting to eclipse the economy and how important it is to voters. Think about it for a second. A common farmer in the plains of Iowa somewhere. He sees what's happening on the southern border. He can see that fentanyl is rocking his town. It's ruining lives in his small town. There are people dying, overdosing. People are passing it out like it's candy. And this is happening in small towns all across the country. In 2016, that farmer would have seen Donald Trump and said, that man knows what he's talking about. That man is talking for me. That man is standing up for me. Prior to that, most Republicans were seen as standing up for big business. They were standing up for Wall Street, but they weren't standing up for middle America. And whether or not you like Donald Trump, like I said, I have some disagreements with him. I know plenty of people that don't like him. Trump is the only candidate in the 2016 election who said, I'm going to stand up for middle America and not for you corporate stooges. And that's how he won. And he needs to be doing that again. You've seen flashes of it. We've all seen flashes of it. He's had some 2016-ish moments here and there, but he's not really running like it's 2016. He's not really running like he was running against Hillary Clinton. And that was his fatal flaw in 2020. Now, notwithstanding the fact that there are some questions about how the election was handled, Donald Trump in 2020 was not the same candidate as Donald Trump in 2016. That is clear. And Donald Trump in 2024 is, thank the Lord, not the same candidate he was in 2020. But he's also not the same candidate he was in 2016. Now, 2016 Donald Trump, I don't think is ever going to come back in full force. But 2024 Donald Trump needs to move a lot closer to 2016 Donald Trump than he is right now. And that means going hard on immigration. Now, many of you saw, I posted earlier a policy on immigration, a policy proposal that I think could potentially help save the country. It includes a minimum 10-year moratorium on immigration. That might sound harsh, but the reason for that is because we are taking in 1 million legal people a year. 1 million green cards distributed every year. That's far too many. That's far too many for our country to be able to sustain itself. That's far too many our resources to be shared with these people. And that's far too many for them to be able to come in and have any sort of assimilation whatsoever. Most immigrants today aren't assimilating. That's just the fact. There needs to be a standard of assimilation for someone to come into this country. If you're going to come into the American country, you have to assimilate to the American culture. Just like in Britain, if you want to come into the British country, you would have to assimilate to British culture. If you wanted to go into the Zimbabwean country, you would have to assimilate to Zimbabwean culture. That's how immigration has worked for hundreds of years prior to our current moment. Post-war liberalism has ruined immigration, just like it's ruined a handful of other things. So in order for us to be able to sustain ourselves, to be able to adequately take in people, and for them to have time to assimilate, it's unfair, it's tough, but we have to put a 10-year moratorium on immigration. It just has to be done. In addition to that, we have to drastically rework the visa structures, and we have to drastically rework how we allow people to come in here. No more chain migration. No more birthright citizenship. No more of these horrible policies that are just making things worse for average day Americans like you and me. We also have to lower the quotas. Right now, like I said earlier, there are 1 million green cards about issued every year. That number should be way closer to 400,000, if not less. Why are we taking in 1 million people per year? I am not anti-immigration, but I am anti that much immigration. That's too many people. I'm sorry. I just genuinely, our country cannot sustain itself. A good friend of mine used an analogy one time. It goes like this. Imagine you are in your house. You have pipes coming into your house that bring water, right? Water is neither good nor is it bad. It's neutral, and it can be used for good and it can be used for bad. The pipes bring in water that is supposed to be used for good, for you to be able to brush your teeth, take showers, water plants, wash clothes, wash dishes, do all these things. If the pipe bursts and all of a sudden you have water gushing into your home, you are going to start having a mix of the good water that's used for good purposes, but you're also going to have dirty water that is only destroying. Now, in order to be able to get the water out of your house, you first have to cut the flow entirely. Then, after you've cut the flow entirely, you have to wait to drain all of the bad water out of your house, clean up and repair your house, repair the pipes, and repair everything necessary in order for you to have a functioning home. And once all of that is done, then you can turn the water back on. In the same way, immigrants are neither good nor bad, they're neutral. People, while inclined to evil because of original sin, in this sense are neutral. There are good people that come into our country who do good things and are a net positive for the country. But when you have an overflow like you do now, sometimes you have to stop all of it. And in order to be able to get the bad immigrants out, you have to stop all immigration whatsoever. Some people have thought, why not just offer people amnesty if they're here? If they've been here for so many years and they've been working and they've been living a good life, why not offer amnesty? No amnesty should be given to someone whose first act coming into the country is to break its law. We have immigration laws for a reason. You cannot just come into the country and break our law and expect us to forgive you for it. Christians, yes, are supposed to offer forgiveness to individuals who have wronged them. But a nation, a government, was instituted by God to promote good and to punish evil. Breaking the law is evil, period. And anyone who breaks the law should be punished for breaking the law. And if that means that you come into a country illegally, I'm sorry, but we will have to remove you. Every single person who is in this country right now illegally should be deported. If they want to try and go through the legal process, then we can put them at the back of the line and they can go through the legal process if we don't institute the moratorium first. But if you're here legally, I'm sorry, you're leaving. There are no ifs, ands, and buts about it. That's how it should be. Immigration is the most important issue to Americans right now. Republicans have a very good chance of using this for their advantage and to ride to victory. If Donald Trump can run on immigration effectively the way that he did in 2016, he can win this election.